Hello and welcome to today's video where we're going to go over some stats from the LPL series that took place earlier today, as well as day one of the LEC summer split. Afterwards, we will preview the day two schedule for the LEC in summer tomorrow. So, predictions went 3 and 4 on the day, 0 and 2 in the LPL, then 3 and 2 in the LEC. I thought Nip were going to win. I thought Rookie was going to take this one. The last time these two teams played, Anyone's Legend won 2-1. So Anyone's Legend beating Nip is not a massive surprise. They are capable of doing so. It's just the first 5 minutes said that AL were going to win because Rookie got solo killed by Shanks, and I think that in and of itself was an example of how that series was going to go. And then Ultra Prime Weibo. Ultra Prime showed up in a big way. Weibo struggling to get objectives. Tarzan playing one of the worst jungle games in the history of the LPL, dealing under 1,000 damage on Lee Sin. However, I will say the league community, just in every aspect of the game, from themselves playing the game, you see the constant toxicity of players running it down after 5 minutes. You see flaming and things of that nature, of course, in game. Reddit, you see that Ultra Prime fan getting harassed by other Ultra Prime fans. And you just see Reddit, people freaking out after 5 minutes after a patch comes out, or the skin deal, or whatever the fuck the faker situation was. And then you see like Weibo, you see teams like KC right now, you see teams like Nip, you see these squads play, 2 or 3 series, and their seasons are now done, apparently. And it just shows that, like, in every aspect of the league community, it's like knee-jerk reaction, hyperbole, exaggerations, just the, what am I looking for here? Just the lack of restraint, I guess, is just it's so pitiful. It's the freedom of expression without consequence. And no, there shouldn't be consequences to freedom of speech. Of course, you say whatever you want to say. It's just one of those things of like having a gray face allows just some really out of pocket shit that just doesn't make any sense. Like in the case of Weibo apparently are done now for the season, and there are multiple people saying it, and there's a lot of people I'm sure on Reddit saying it as well. But we do see that this is a different format than what's actually going to matter when these teams are determined for playoffs. And Weibo do have 2 new players, one of which hasn't played in 6 months. For 3 series, and now to say that, like, nobody, I feel like, that's saying that is actually, like, gonna put money behind it, put something of value behind it, put their face behind it, because we all know that it's unlikely that Weibo are just going to shit the bed. Now, is it possible? Yes. I mean, they lost Ultra Prime today. Maybe they don't get it together. But it seems like it's almost like a guarantee that for some reason they're not going to. And I think that's kind of odd. Or that Nip aren't going to get it together, or that KC won't get it together. And there are other, takes that just like, it just immediate takes. But the thing is, like, people have opinions, but it's it's the way in which the opinion is presented, as if it's a certainty. And it's not a certainty. These things are not certainties. Or that, like, Vitality, good example today, Vitality, that Linkus did not do that well in the late game. He didn't really show up. But I will say this, I thought in the early game he was competitive, and we'll talk about it. And I am a big advocate of Douglas. I don't like this move. I feel like the move doesn't make any sense. But I'm not going to blame Linkus for it, because he's also a rookie, just like Douglas was. Is he a little older than Douglas? Yes. Has he been, if you're like a mainstream fan, I guess, if you just kind of pay attention to scouting reports and things like that, you've known that people have talked about him for a couple of years. But Douglas also has been Hell, Douglas is like one of the best jungle games in the history of LOL Esports. If you look down at the lower levels, he had like a 20 kill game a couple of years ago on his come up to stardom. Like, if you've paid attention, you knew who Douglas was as well. So it's like just knee jerk reactions. And it's the gray face mentality that allows it. And it is what it is. Like, you see pro sports, I don't feel like it's as common in pro sports because somebody usually checks somebody on that sort of stuff. But in the esports League of Legends community, it doesn't really happen. And in game, we see it with the toxicity, and on Reddit, we see it as well. So it's one of those things that is really, it's just it honestly brings a laugh every once in a while because I'm just like, and this take is not gonna probably pan out, but there's gonna be no accountability for it, and then the next take will just be as certain in that individual's mind instead of taking a step back and saying, hey, maybe I need to show some restraint. So that is what it is. Monologue done, rant done. Anyone's Legend nip, anyone's Legend win. Like I said, Shanks opening the game up strong with a solo onto Rookie. Shanji was ahead of Ale quite a bit in game one. As both teams went topside twice, anyone's Legend would also go mid lane twice, which did help Shanks get a 1.4k lead. Shanji 1.2 over Ale, and the bot duo of Hope and Cal showing up big, getting a 1.1k gold lead by about 13.5 minutes. Grub split 3-3. Anyone's Legend did take all 4 Drakes and 2 Barons for 6,653 gold total. So dominant performance there. Game 2, 11 minutes in. Laning phase ended. In this one, Krako would get a solo as well as Shanji. Shanji wasn't ahead in this one. So gold was even, but Ale 19 CS lead, as there was only one play in the first 11 minutes with an outnumbered situation, and was Nip going to top lane. The biggest diffy, once again, the bot duo. Hope and Cal up 2.4k gold over Photic Shuo at 11 minutes. Talk about a diffy. Like, anyone's Legend in every which way, dominant into Nip. Ale more impactful than Shanji in team fights, even though Shanji was strong in the laning phase. Grub 6-0. Nip did take Rift Herald, but anyone's Legend took 3 Drakes. They had the 1 Baron, 1,922 gold total. Highlights from this series in terms of plays. Anyone's Legend made 4, Nip made 3. All 3 of Nip's were to the top side of the Rift. Grubs 9-3 in favor of anyone's Legend. Rift Herald split 1-1. Drakes 7-0 in favor of anyone's Legend. 8,575 gold total with 3 Barons for anyone's Legend. Stats, Shanks led the way in damage for anyone's Legend. 11, 2, and 16, 28% of damage with a solo. Cal, best KDA, 2-2-23. Krako, a solo as well. Rookie, had the most damage for Nip, and he sucked. 1, 10, and 5 with 25% of damage. Shanji with a solo as well. Now we have Ultra Prime Weibo. Ultra Prime pulled this one out. Weibo, it was ugly. It was ugly. Frankly, you could have argued they lost all 3 games. It was rough. Game 1, 14 minutes in. Qingtian, 1.2k gold lead over Breathe, as Ultra Prime went to the top lane twice and bot lane once. Weibo, mid, and bot themselves. 500 gold lead for Xiaohu in Game 1. Xiaohu, laning-wise, the most consistent on the squad. All 3 games, either positive or even in gold. Bot duo of Doggo, Niket, taking advantage of Light and Crisp. I thought they played a great series. As Light and Crisp continue to kind of go downhill after what was a super strong summer out of them last year. 1.3k gold, 22 CS for Ultra Prime. They would take all 6 Grubs, Rift Herald, Drake split 2-2, and a 1,978 gold power play. Game 2, 12-minute laning phase. Breathe ahead big time over Qingtian, so he returns the favor. 1.5k and 21 CS, as Weibo make the only play, going topside once. Very inactive early game. 500 gold lead for Xiaohu again. Bot duo of Up ahead 300. Grub split 3-3. Up take 3 of 4 Drakes. However, Weibo took the one Baron and ended with it. 6,765 gold. So a very efficient Baron. That was enough to seal the deal. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they were behind in Drakes. Ultra Prime split Grubs. They took the Rift Herald. But yet, when it came to the Baron fight, Weibo secured it, and Weibo won with it. They punished Ultra Prime in that situation. Game 3, a lot slower in terms of when the first turret fell. It was about 16 minutes when it occurred. Tarzan and Weibo not making any plays, which is a problem. Ultra Prime making 3, 1 to top lane, 2 to bot side. Gold diffies 300 in favor of Breathe, up 42 CS. So it kind of goes to show you that although he was up all this farm, Ching Tian was able to find gold elsewhere. 700 gold lead for Hacker, including 17 CS. And then Doggo, Niket, 512 respectively. Grubs going to the side of Weibo 4-2, but they did not take the Rift Herald or all 5 Drakes. So Ultra Prime get Elder, which is important. They had 2 Barons for 4,616 gold total. Totals from this series: 6 plays by Ultra Prime, 3 to top, 3 to bot, and Weibo made 3 themselves. Grubs 11-7 in favor of Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime also took all 3 Rift Heralds, took Drakes 10-3. Power plays totaled 6,594 gold with 3 Barons, and gave up 6,765 with the 1 Weibo had. Laning stats: Breathe up 218 CS. Hacker 467 and 17. Xiaohu 333 and 11. And then the bot duo of Doggo and Niket up 700 gold and 12 CS respectively. Niket showing a lot of promise as a rookie, a guy that didn't play at all in spring. Players to note: Doggo 13-2 and 9, 28% of damage. Hacker 5-4-20. Light 6-4-6, 30% of damage in the loss. Tarzan did have a solo kill in Game 3 onto Hacker. Even then, he still ended up 700 gold behind. LEC. So, the start of the split. We had Heretics and Giant X. Juhan, a lot more active than Yankos in this one, in my opinion. He made 3 plays to 1. 2 to mid lane, trying to get Jackies ahead of Zuira. Not Zero. It's we're going with 0. Eventually, I'll get it. Diffie's 572 gold lead for Jankos, in part due to the fact that Juhan maybe have been more active, but he wasn't getting farm and not necessarily getting kills on his attempted plays. Jackie's up 280 gold himself and 9 CS. Grubs all going to Heretics. The Rift Herald going to Heretics. Drake split 3-3. Once the game got to the mid-game, Heretics started returning the favor. So Giant X were taking Drakes, but then Heretics said, okay, we're going to ensure you don't get Soul. And then they would stack Drakes. They took 1 Baron, getting 4,887 gold total with it. Flacked led the way in damage, 616, 29% of damage on Corky. Wonder had a solo kill on Kesante, going 3-0-13. Jackie's 261 and a team leading 31% of damage on Yone for Giant X. Rogue and SK. Rogue actually both teams even in plays. Rogue made 3, SK made 3. Rogue trying to go to the top side, SK to the bot side. At about 12:45, laning phase ended. Finn was ahead 465 gold despite being behind in CS. Isma ahead in CS as well, but behind Marcoon in gold. Marcoon up 267. Larson ahead big time over Niski, 678 gold and 16 CS. However, it didn't matter because Rahel and Luan had a 2v2 kill into Comp and Zoli's and had opened up a massive 1,175 gold lead, 21 CS. That gave them prio on the bot side of the Rift. SK would take 6 Drakes, 2 of which, of course, were Elders. And Rogue, sure, they were able to split Grubs 3-3, but Once this Drake stacking started occurring for SK, Rogue just really didn't have an answer. SK only needed one Baron with a 790 gold power play, but these Elders is what helped push them over the edge to win. Irrelevant, 347, 36% of damage on Rumble led the way. Isma, 418 on Poppy had the best KDA. Rahel, 2v2 kill. Comp, 244, 34% of damage on Ziggs. Larson also with a solo kill in that one. Vitality BDS, very active early game. Vitality ahead of BDS. I thought that Linkus did a solid job. But once team fighting began in the mid game, Vitality allowed BDS back into it. So plays 2-2 in the first 16 minutes. Photon had a solo onto Adam and was up 1.5k gold and 35 CS. Vatio 825 and 19, and the bot duo of Karzi Hilly had 722 themselves. The only lead BDS had occurred in the jungle, where Shea was up 270 gold. So, Vitality threw. Linkus got his teammates ahead. You know, this notion that he should have been the one dealing the damage, I mean, yes and no. I feel like if you identify yourself as a guy that's the player that's behind, and you see your top laner has a 1,500 gold lead, your mid laner and your ADC have massive leads, then maybe we should just start, like, dealing damage out of those departments, right? Those roles. Start building damage, and now this player goes to a more supportive build. Because you're not getting gold anyways, so you might as well give the gold to someone else. Grubs all going to Vitality. Rift Herald going to Vitality. They took 3 Drakes, but it didn't matter because BDS took 2 to slow that down. Vitality had 1 Baron, and they blew it. Technically behind 9,000, Jesus Christ, 948 gold. If you take out the 1525 you get automatically, after they took it, they would lose 948 gold between then and when Baron power play ended. BDS had a power play for 3,776 gold themselves. Adam led the team in damage, 346, 26% on Kesante, I believe. Labrav, 2011, had the best KDA. Karzi, 013, 27% of damage in the loss. And Photon had a solo. Mad Lions Koi G2. So, in terms of predictions, I thought Rogue were going to win. And they didn't. The bot duo of SK carrying them. And then, well, carrying them through the early game, then Irrelevant laying down damage on Rumble. I mean, in the late game. I thought Mad Lions Koi would upset G2 in this one. I felt like G2, this was one that I could see them losing. And frankly, if Mad Lions Koi don't throw it as the mid-game began, they would have, because Zyra Jungle occurred today. And that was certainly a pick, and it was effective. I mean, Elyoya actually had a solo kill. He was active. He made a couple plays the bot side. Yike playing Sejuani made 3 plays himself in the first 15 minutes. And Elyoya was ahead quite a bit, 950 gold, 10 CS. However, Caps, well, he's really good. So he's ahead 1.5k gold and 19 CS at this point. So G2 were able to keep up with Elyoya and the rest of Mad Lions Koi, because even Supa had a 2v2 kill into Hans and Mickey as well. And then as the game went along and it went to the late game, BB took over on Camille and just wrecked the game for Mad Lions Koi. And it just, G2 just easily won at that point. I mean, hell, BB would just jump in and get kills. And I mean, there was a key Baron fight, I believe, where he had a triple that really gave G2 the win. So Grubs 4-2 in favor of G2. Mad took the Rift Herald. They took 3 Drakes to 1. They took the first 3, but G2 were able to secure the 4th one, which was important, and take Baron, getting 3,000 gold out of it. Broken Blade, a solo kill, going 12-3-3, 31%. Caps, 4-1-8 in mid. Supa, a 2v2 kill, and a team leading 30% of damage, going 5-3-5. Elyoya, a solo on Zyra. Lastly, we had KC Fnatic, because we have to play fan service to the KC squad and play them in the prime slot against Fnatic. KC, a new team, pretty much. 3 of 5 pieces are brand new. And unfortunately, a lot of gold ended up on closer on Rek'Sai, and I can't imagine that was very useful, as he had like a 1K gold lead over Razork for a very long portion of this game. Kana getting out to an early lead over Oscar, in part due to closer going top lane. And Kana on the Jax, not able to do enough with it, and to Oscar's Poppy, certainly. It is just unfortunate that closer ended up with so much gold in the early game as well. Plays, KC made 2, Fnatic 1. At 15 minutes, 600 gold lead for Kana and a 1.5k gold lead for closer. In his return to major region play. Mid lane, pretty much even, so Vladdy should be happy with that. Coming away even with Humanoid is definitely a decent result, given it's their first game. And Noah Juna had 1,000 gold and 29 CS over Upset Targamas. Surprisingly enough, Upset played Senna. That is very unlike Upset. So that honestly shocked the hell out of me. Grubs, 3-3. KC got Rift Herald. Fnatic took 2 Drakes to 1 and had about a 958 gold power play, and were just able to end through sheer will, essentially. Humanoid 207 and a team leading 46% of damage on Wei. So in the end, despite the laning phase going even, the Wei was really oppressive, and ensured that they would win. Noah 514 at 80 carry, Vladdy 213, 32% of damage in the loss. Preview for tomorrow. BDS Heretics. BDS won last time they played 2-0. Ice 10-1-13, 31% of damage in the win. Flacket 5-6-2 and 26% in the loss. Rogue and Vitality. When they played in Spring, Vitality won. Photon led the way. 9-4-11, 33% of damage on a Gwen. Finn 2-4-12 and 26% of damage. 20% of damage in the loss. Game 3, Carmine Corp and Mad Lions Koi. Last time they played, KC won. Only the bot duos remain the same. Upset Targama 6-0-21, 43% of damage in the win. Supa and Alvaro 1-8-6, 47% of damage in the loss. Fnatic Giant X. Last time they played, Fnatic would win 2-0. Bot side remains the same. Mid remains the same as Giant X swap out the top side of the Rift. Humanoid Noah June 24-13-52, 76% of damage in the win. Jackie's Patrick Ignar 17-18-29, 64% of damage in the loss. Lastly, SKG2. Last time they played, G2 would win. Bot duo of SK is now different. So, Broken Blade Yike Caps 9-3-26 with the team leading 66% of damage in the win. Irrelevant Isma Niski 4-10-4, 68% of damage in the loss. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. I hope to see you again tomorrow.